When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. One of the greatest paradoxes on the spiritual path is the realization that in order to truly become, one must first be willing to release. The quote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be," captures this paradox with profound simplicity. It speaks to the transformative power of surrender, the quiet yet courageous act of loosening our grip on the identities, beliefs, expectations, and attachments that define our present sense of self. In a world that encourages constant striving for achievement, recognition, and control, the idea of letting go may seem counterintuitive, even threatening. Yet, from a spiritual perspective, it is precisely this release that opens the door to authentic growth and self-realization. Most of us move through life with a carefully constructed image of who we believe ourselves to be. This image is shaped by past experiences, societal influences, cultural expectations, and personal ambitions. We adopt roles and labels: student, professional, friend, leader, success story, or even failure, and begin to see these as fixed aspects of our identity. Over time, these roles solidify into a narrative that we carry with us, often without questioning its validity. However, spirituality invites us to examine this narrative more closely. It asks us to consider whether the self we have constructed is truly reflective of our deepest essence, or merely a collection of conditioned responses and external influences. The process of letting go begins with this inquiry. It involves recognizing that the identity we cling to may not encompass the fullness of who we are capable of becoming. This can be a deeply unsettling realization. After all, our sense of identity provides a framework for navigating the world. It offers stability, predictability, and a sense of belonging. To release this framework even partially can feel like stepping into the unknown. We may fear losing our direction, our purpose, or even our sense of worth. Yet it is precisely within this uncertainty that transformation becomes possible. By loosening our attachment to what we believe ourselves to be, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. This is not about rejecting our past or denying our experiences, but about acknowledging that they do not define the entirety of our potential. Consider how often personal growth requires a shift in perspective. A belief that once served us may become limiting over time. A goal that once inspired us may no longer align with our values. A role that once provided meaning may begin to feel restrictive. In such moments, holding on to the familiar can prevent us from evolving. The spiritual journey encourages us to trust the process of change, to recognize that the dissolution of one identity can pave the way for the emergence of another, more authentic self. This trust is rooted in faith, not necessarily in a specific doctrine, but in the inherent intelligence of life itself. It is the understanding that growth often requires us to relinquish certainty in favor of possibility. Letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility or disengaging from the world. Rather, it involves releasing the need to control every outcome and allowing life to unfold in its own way. It means approaching experiences with openness rather than resistance, curiosity rather than fear. Spiritual growth extends this insight further, inviting us to question the very assumptions that underpin our sense of self. Through practices such as meditation, contemplation, or mindful awareness, we begin to observe our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. We notice that they arise and pass away, much like waves on the ocean. In doing so, we come to understand that we are not the waves themselves, but the vastness of the ocean in which they appear. This shift in awareness allows us to detach from limiting self-concepts and embrace a more expansive understanding of who we are. We become less defined by past successes or failures and more attuned to the present moment's potential. From this place of openness, new possibilities begin to take shape. We may discover talents we had overlooked, passions we had suppressed, or aspirations we had dismissed as unrealistic. Freed from the constraints of our former identity, we are able to explore paths that were previously unimaginable. Importantly, this process is not always comfortable. Letting go can involve grief for the person we thought we were, the dreams we once held, or the expectations we had internalized. Yet this grief is often accompanied by a sense of liberation. In releasing what no longer serves us, we make room for growth and renewal. Over time, we come to see that our true nature is not fixed, but fluid, capable of adapting, evolving, and expanding in response to life's challenges and opportunities. This realization fosters resilience, enabling us to navigate change with greater ease and confidence. Moreover, the act of letting go can deepen our relationships with others. When we are not bound by rigid self-concepts, we become more empathetic and understanding. We are less inclined to judge or compare, and more willing to accept ourselves and others as works in progress. Ultimately, the quote reminds us that becoming is an ongoing process rather than a final destination. It encourages us to view change not as a threat, but as an invitation to release the limitations of our current identity and embrace the possibilities that lie beyond it. By letting go of what we are, we open ourselves to what we might be. We step into a space of potential where growth is not constrained by past definitions or future expectations. In this space, transformation unfolds naturally, guided by the wisdom of our deeper self. And in this unfolding, we discover that the journey toward becoming is not about acquiring something new, but about revealing what has always been present within us, waiting patiently for the moment when we are ready to let go and begin again.